I think semis is still a good. Are there any other teams? I mean, we have the final 8 here: France, Brazil, Spain, Colombia, the United States, Japan, Canada, Germany. Are there any other teams you feel maybe disappointed or maybe overachieved in this
Well,
women's tournament?
I would say the disappointment for the first round would have been Australia,
Hmm.
because remember they kind of dropped out solely based off goal difference,
Yes.
based on how it worked out, because that 6-5 game against Zambia really cost them big time, because the amount of goals they conceded in that one was just too
Yeah.
much. But based on what they had, I do believe that they could have caused some more problems in the next round. But I was saying that at first, right? And in the end, it was Brazil that ended up in the finals, when Brazil was the third best placed team.
Yep.
You know,
That's
so so I would say, but I would stick with Australia being the one that I'm kind of not I thought that they should have done better. Australia, I
mm.
would stick with. Yeah.
I think for me, the team, and you're gonna say I'm bad mining this. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not. I think that I look back at Nigeria's tournament, and it's not that they were disappointing. Honestly, both African teams, to be honest, they had the opportunities. And I think that was my most right, because we asked the question before: can an African team maybe medal here? And the both games that we said they need to get something out of, the game was there for them, right?
Yes, yes. That
Nigeria
is true.
versus Brazil, that game was there for them. Yes,
That
Brazil
is
ultimately
true. The
makes,
keeper, the keeper lay down a lot. Africans, she just lay
yeah.
down. She does not want to do anything more than lay down on this field.
Hey,
Yeah.
she nursed that injury to a silver, JD. She nursed it to silver. I'm not even mad at her. I'm not even mad. But like, you look at that game early on, Nigeria, the Falcons had so many opportunities in that first half before Brazil broke through. And I was saying, like, this is the game you get the 3 points. Who would have thought that 3 points would have basically secured you a second or a third place thing, thanks to drones and points reduction and all that fun stuff? But that game was there for them. And so they
Agreed.
played well. They were a tough out in all 3 games. And so for me, Nigeria, not because they didn't make it out and get a medal, but because I think the games were there. They just weren't able to push it over the edge. And the same thing for Zambia. You can't lose a game when you're up 5-2. I know defense was a suggestion in that game. Like it was a theory, maybe. Like
And can you
Einstein was
defend
on the
too?
back trying to figure it out, but
Can you try
you were up
defending?
5-2. They were up 5-2, and they lost that game 6-5. And again, they just needed 3 points, and they would have been in the fighting to get through. Because
And
that same three
to
points,
be honest,
yeah.
to be honest, I don't think Zambia could have qualified either, because Zambia just couldn't keep their goal difference down. So any one of those in this group wouldn't have qualified if they don't amass the points, because goal
Mm,
difference ain't going to help them. But I do agree with you that the games were in touching distance for both of them. I would say for
mm,
Nigeria, all 3 games were actually in touching distance, because even Spain. Remember, that's how we saw that Spain got problem on the counter. Remember, that's how we figured it
mm,
out. Because they had the chances and never finished their chances. So you can still say, because remember, it's a learning process. And I thought that Nigeria figured out what they want more than anything else. Spain
mm.
figured out what they want more than anything else. Japan figured out what they want. They would say they don't want anything. Maybe Japan could leave to say that this is their style and it works for them. If it wasn't just a fluke, they wouldn't have conceded even one against the United States. And they would say that they created the better chances. So some teams, even though they don't progress to the end, they still kind of believe that they have worked on everything and maximize themselves there. It's just some of the other teams like the Nigerias, the Spain, you could say that those 2 teams, they figured out that they don't have enough fluid players in midfield to control the tempo a lot more. Deborah alone can't do it. They might need to sub TP in, and Kanu need to be operating better. You need to figure out who your striker is. You understand me? You need to figure out who your
Yeah.
left back is, if Plum 3 is going to come back, Imoran coming back, all of those things. But I've gotten a lot of information out of it, and to be honest, I am still here watching and see where they can tweak. But I do believe that both of the teams can tweak things, and they are going to be better teams.
No, and I think that's fair. I think it was a good step up. I think for me, when I look at Nigeria Super Falcons, they are a team that are showing me enough that I'm no longer in the mindset of look at how well they showed against this team. And now
Hmm.
I'm in the business of wins now, JD.
Yeah,
Because
yes,
you
yes.
you can't play these top teams well all here. And draws are good. I'm not saying draws are bad. They were able to get draws against Canada that helped them get through at the World
Hmm.
Cup. But for Nigeria, look, you have the talent. You have probably one of the more complete teams from front to back, goalie to nine. They one of the more complete teams in Africa, let alone the world, in terms of just the quality that they have throughout. They need to start amassing. Tees are good, but I need more wins now from them because they have the talent to do so. And if they aren't able to build off of it, they'll just be a team that goes to tournaments, are a tough out, but you'll get them out eventually. And so I think for me, I've transitioned from look at how well Nigeria is playing against Spain. Look at how well they're playing against Japan. Look at how well they're playing against Brazil too. No, they should have beat Brazil. The game was there for them to have. And it may be harsh. You may say it's just me because it's Nigeria, but no, from what they've played, I think right now the standard has to be you've played tough teams, great. Now you need to beat these teams.
Well, I think you're remaining consistent. You said the same thing about Suriname.
Mhm.
When you produce certain things over certain years, even though I think the Suriname one is not similar to Nigeria, Nigeria has
Mhm.
these players for a good while now. Suriname, this is the first time they're having them. To be honest, they
Yeah.
changed over, but Nigeria had the same players going to World Cup, and they performed well in the World Cup, and now they are in a different competition, and we need to see something. I agree with you. The talent might be there. Maybe they need a coach overall because there is something that they're lacking in the displays. But you know that they
Mhm.
have the talent because when you saw them playing individual games, you're saying that these girls are good players. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
I do agree with you as well. Yeah.